Well, with me now is the chef and food writer Yotam Ottolenghi, and from Edinburgh, I'm joined by the author of several food books, including What to Eat, Joanna Blythman. Yotam Ottolenghi, what do you make of the idea?
First of all, when I saw this burger, I just thought it was horrific. But and I'm also not a huge fan of overindulging in meat. But so in a sense, I would rather that most people would just eat mostly vegetables most of the time, and then we would need so much. But I also have to acknowledge that there is a problem because people eat a lot of meat, and more people around the world eat meat, and there's not enough space to grow all these cattle, cows, sheep, pigs, to feed all those people. So basically, we're taking over land by our cattle, and those animals also produce methane, which contributes to global warming and other disastrous things.
So on sustainability grounds, if they could make it work,
yes, I think it would be a sustainable solution. I don't see it working because I think we're too far. I mean, maybe in 50 or 100 years, some kind of sci-fi approach would kind of bring us to the place. But I think it's easy to dismiss it because, of course, we're all repulsed by the idea of eating something like that. But I think it does answer some deep questions and problems that we have to deal with.
Joanna Blythman, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's the ultimate in processed food, and I'm one of those people who spends their life avoiding eating processed food. I think lots of people now want food to be more natural, not less natural. And to tell us to desert a food that has been sustaining us for centuries, down the ages, a natural food which can be grown on grass without any additional cereals and is in this country, for example, beef and lamb, to ask us to desert that to eat a product which is designed in a lab, manufactured in a factory, will have to be full of additives to give it some flavour, some colour, to give it sort of texture, which will almost certainly taste very inferior to meat and is probably nutritionally inferior to meat. I just don't find it an attractive proposition, and I don't know who's meant to be excited by it. I don't think vegans and vegetarians will be, because it still comes from stem cells from dead cows.
But I suppose the point is we can't grow enough meat the natural way, as you see it, for the world's population. You've got a vast demand coming from the developing world now, and there isn't the farming space and sustainability to actually supply it all.
Well, people, if there isn't enough meat, people find, as Yotam said, they eat vegetables, they eat something else. There is no sort of civil right to eat lots and lots of meat, and it depends on the country that you're in. I mean, in some tropical countries, you throw some seeds in the ground, and you have papayas, you have mangoes, you have wonderful tropical plants. In our country, we're actually very good at rearing livestock on grass, and they give us very high quality natural meat. Not all of it, and I'm absolutely clear, I don't want to eat factory farmed meat. We've been saying this for decades.
Yeah.
That has to end, but there's still a very clear path, which is eating a moderate amount of well-reared local grass-fed beef or lamb. I think that's a very progressive position, in fact.
Yotam Ottolenghi, I mean, the question of taste seems central now in terms of developing this technology. Where does the taste come from?
Well, I mean, I think most of, as they said in the piece that we just heard, I mean, most of the taste comes from elements that they couldn't quite create in the lab, and this is why I'm very skeptical about the point at which it will become flavorsome, the fat and the sinew and all the tissues that, that really aren't just those proteins that reproduce in the lab. But
so it's all the awful stuff that gives us the great taste. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you need blood. You need a lot of things to create this taste. But I think what I just like to say something. I think it's very important not to shut down any option completely. I think I'm a true believer in taste. I'm a true believer in sustainability, and I'm a true believer in eating all the best things that we can get. I'm just thinking, I mean, if we shut down that option now, we don't know what's going to be available in 100 years' time. I don't want to eat that burger we saw now. I would not eat it for 200.
But you wouldn't reject it on the grounds that it's the ultimate in processed food, as Joanna said.
At this point, it is. In the future, I think there's a chance that they might be able to produce something. There's going to be 9 billion people on this planet in 30 years. Or 40 years. These people would eat meat even if Joanna and I go out and shout, eat vegetables all day long. They will keep on eating meat. This meat is going to be taking over rainforests and producing and creating global warming. There will need to be a solution. Maybe we don't like it, Joanna and I, but someone needs to find a solution.
Joanna, you're nodding very briefly. I think we've lost the line. But, I think we'll have to leave it there anyway. But Joanna Blythman, thank you very much in Edinburgh. Yotam Ottolenghi, thanks for joining us in the studio. Catherine.
Thanks, Chris.